Hello Guthrie, it's nice to have you here at the first Zagreb Guitar Show. Welcome to Croatia.
Thank you.
What have you been up to lately?
In the immediate past, I woke up far too early this morning, and since I got to Croatia I have seen nothing apart from this shop and the airport and the hotel and this, which is very nice. Prior to that, let me think now, in the last 2 months I think I've gigged in 4 different continents.
Wow.
I've been to like China and Korea and Japan, I've been to Iceland, I've been to South Africa, doing clinics, doing aristocrat stuff, keeping very busy.
Okay,
so I'm very tired but not complaining.
Great schedule. You're known for your amazing diversity within music and your ability to adapt and function within virtually any style of music. And also you've been playing guitar since you were a small child. And would you care to name some of the artists who you consider to have brought the most significant influence to your, not only to your playing, but to your style as a composer?
Okay, well, if I can start by addressing that many styles thing, to me it's not a big deal. I guess because of the way I learned. I grew up as a little kid just thinking every sound I hear around me is worth stealing. Yeah. If it's a TV theme for kids or something the ice cream van is playing or whatever, it's like I want to copy that sound. And to me it's all music, it's all different flavours, and why not embrace all of it? But I don't know, things that really made an impact on me, I'll give you a few. Early rock and roll, not specifically a guitar thing, but just hearing pre-army Elvis and the amount of energy in that, and the fact that it's really simple music harmonically but delivered with such passion, taught me very, very early on that what really matters is play everything like you mean it. Hearing Clapton playing in the Cream kind of era taught me that the guitar can be the vocalist in the band, the guitar can carry the melody and be the thing in the forefront. And that had never occurred to me before until that point. The guitar was a machine to help you play songs. Hendrix, I don't even need to tell you what was special about Hendrix, everything. But the thing that really got me at the time was actually the way he played rhythm, and the way his approach to just playing an E chord was so organic, and it would crawl all over the neck, and it would have a kind of melodic quality even when he was just supporting the vocal line. Frank Zappa taught me that it's okay to play whatever you want and to feel completely uninhibited. And it's like, oh, you can go that far out there. Cool. Thanks for showing me the way. Yngwie made it cool to be able to play a million notes but still play them like you mean them. I know in some circles it's fashionable to bash Yngwie, but it's actually an incredibly cool player, and when he slows down and just plays one note, it's like an opera singer, and we salute Yngwie. Steve Vai just made the vocabulary of the guitar bigger. John Scofield made it okay to play fusion notes with a kind of filthy blues kind of attitude. So pretty much everything I've heard has affected me in some way, but those are a few of the things that floated my boat.
No, if we take a look at the Erotic Cakes album, for example, the bulk of the record features arrangements which are kind of layered and big. And how do you get away with playing the music live with only 2 or 3 people in a band backing you? And do you have a specific approach for adapting the music to a live environment?
Honestly, I don't really enjoy playing that stuff as a trio. I've done it a lot because of the logistics of booking a gig for a trio, playing music as unfashionable as that. There are economic factors at play. But really, I want a minimum of 4 people. Because I wrote the chords as well. I'm as proud of the chords as I am of the tapping licks, whatever. It seems like some of the kids out there will come to see the gig, they don't care, they just want to see the tapping licks. But for me, without the harmony there, it doesn't mean anything. So for the last couple of years, most of the gigs I've done playing that material have been with a good friend and a great player, Dave Kilminster. And he's, I won't say second guitar because that's demeaning and wrong. He's the other guitar player, and we kind of divide things up between us, and that seems to make it work.
In the UK with him.
Yeah. No, we were in Spain, I think, 2 days ago.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And he played with Roger Waters, right?
Yeah, he's still doing that.
You've played your music and taught students all over the world, and have you noticed that people respond differently to your music in different parts of the world? And would you say that those different places make for a different market, so to say?
Yes, there are definitely quirks when you go around the world. I'll give you a few random examples. I remember doing a guitar clinic in Durban, in South Africa, and let's say there were 60 people there, and 15 of them were Indian guys, because there's a big Indian population in Durban. And when it came to the meet and greet thing afterwards, where you hang out with the people who really want to ask other questions, every single person who stuck around was an Indian shredder. And that's not what I expected to happen in South Africa, but there you go. It is what it is. Yeah. So that was interesting. I don't know, I guess the musical heritage of every territory is a little bit different. Yeah. So people take certain things for granted in different places and enjoy certain things. I would say in France, people enjoy zany humour and a little bit of surrealism more than they do in most places. Like, they welcomed the music of, say, Bumblefoot before anyone else really got him. So 10 points to the French for understanding that. In Italy, they like the fiery thing, they like a bit more shredding, they like a certain kind of machismo in the way you play. And on it goes. In Britain, oddly enough, the British way seems to be to resent someone if they try too hard to be good. That's a quirky thing about the British mindset. You almost piss people off if you try too hard. Yeah. British like it when someone tries a little bit and then fail. But yeah, everywhere's different, and I know there's certain kind of Eastern European places where I've noticed people are very, very comfortable with the idea of odd time signatures. Yeah. Even Greece, like 9/8 is like the national anthem of Greece. All their music is that. Bulgaria, there's insane time signature stuff going on, and in the West or whatever, you'd have to be Dream Theater or a band like that to dare to do some of that stuff. But those people get it, because it's in their blood, and they grew up not just learning the music but learning how to dance to it. I think that's a big part of it. So yeah, everywhere's different. Long may these trends continue.
Okay, so you've been teaching guitar through magazines and also at academies and institutes. Does the act of analyzing and teaching others ever give you a different perspective? That is, do you feel that your role as a teacher has an effect on on the way you function as a musician?
It's taught me certain things about the way I play. There's things that I take for granted, and I see someone else struggling with it, and then my duty is to come up with an explanation for why they're struggling with it. And sometimes I have to go right back to first principles and watch myself play as if I was someone else. Like, what am I doing there? Which bit of my arm am I resting? Like, where is the tension? Where is the looseness? And yeah, I've certainly learned stuff about how I play guitar from doing all that stuff.
Now to the guitar geek part of the video. Okay. Your rig obviously changes according to the situation, but there's always those few elements that remain, as the basis and the rest is subject to change. Would you mind elaborating a bit on your rig?
Okay, well, the thing I really look for is honesty. In the guitar and in the amp, I want gear that listens to the way I play. Because I think there are two basic kinds of rig. There's the flattering rig that will kind of compress you. Maybe it will drown you in delay. Maybe it will just compress the dynamics of your playing, and it will make you sound tidier and cleaner, and it will make your sweeping tricks come out a little bit clearer. And for me, although I play too many notes, I still have a strong grounding in the blues and all that stuff, blues rock. That's where I come from. And I'm a big fan of trying to play the note in a million different ways. So I look for a rig that will just listen to all those little details and bring them out. So it's got to be an old school valve amp. It's okay for that valve amp to have more gain than a real old amp, but still it's got to react in that way. And in terms of pickups, I don't want them to be too hot, because if they're too hot, again, it disguises the sound of the wood of the guitar and it hides some of the pick dynamics. So yeah, if the amp's got valves in it and every part of the gear is listening, I feel comfortable, and it makes you try harder to make every note sound good. But then when you listen back to that note, it's like, yeah, I made that. It wasn't the gear, it was me. The gear allowed me to make the note sound that way, and that's kind of the feeling that I chase.
So your rig, it's based around a Sur guitar and a Comfort amp?
At the moment, I'm mostly gigging with the Aristocrats, this trio.
Yeah,
I suspect you might want to talk about that later, because I've looked at your questions. But for that, because it's just a trio and I was trying to make everything sound big, I thought I'd try something different. Cornford amps are amazing, they really listen like nothing else. But I thought I'd try using the Sur Badger, which is a different flavour of a listening amp. and it's a little squashier in the mid-range. It's got a different EQ characteristic, but the spirit is the same. And mostly when I go out and gig now, I'm using the Badger because that's what I used on the album, and it's fun to turn up and just set up as a trio with no cheating, and as soon as we start playing it sounds like the album, and I think that's a good starting point. It's great for anything where you haven't got too many people playing, because if I want to get a clean sound I can be old school and roll the volume knob down and there's glassy, pristine, clean stuff coming out of the amp. It's actually really quiet. I've discovered if I play with another guitarist who's got a different kind of tone, my clean won't really keep up. But that's single channel amps for you, that's how they operate. But I'm doing a lot of that stuff at the moment. I'm quite enjoying it.
Tell us the story behind